So, welcome to Portcullis House for my weekly update. This is the modern office block next to the Palace of Westminster, where quite a lot of intrigue happens because they let journalists in here. We've had another busy week in Parliament. For me, particularly, a couple of things I wanted to mention. First of all, Treasury Select Committee, two long hearings this week. The first on women in finance, where we had evidence about the advance of women in the finance industry, particularly at the Bank of England, and what more the government can do to make sure that we get more of an equilibrium between the genders in finance. And secondly, yesterday we had a meeting to talk about the future economic relationship of the UK and the EU post-Brexit. We had a couple of professors of law to come talk about the process, and also a guy called Ivan Rogers, who was our former UK permanent representative to the EU, to talk about that against a backdrop of very good GDP figures this week, which show that the country is still doing well, the economy is okay, employment is very high, but nevertheless looking at some of the issues we might have to address to get to a civilised relationship with the EU. We've also just had an urgent question to David Davis about when there'll be this meaningful vote in the House, or what the deal looks like, and also some movement, it seems, in the EU about when we can start to talk about trade. As I've said repeatedly on the media, we can't agree everything unless we talk about everything at the same time. And so we want to know what we're buying, and they want to know the price. And until we talk about those, we're not going to get very far, and the EU seems to be seeing the sense of that at the moment. So it's been a good week for progress, I think, on Brexit, and a hard week in terms of work on the Treasury Select Committee, as well as all the legislation that's been ongoing. Final thing I just want to mention is a local issue. You will have noticed that the RMT have announced some strikes on South Western trains. That will affect Overton, Whitchurch, Andover and Greatley. They're coming on the 8th and 9th. It's a 48-hour strike in November. I have just late last night, spoken to the MD of South Western Trains about what they're going to do to mitigate the impact. And it does look like they're going to be able to run a kind of skeleton service on the line. Perhaps half to two-thirds of the services may run. We're not sure yet, but they're going to be publishing an amended timetable over the next couple of days, and I will put that on the website to make sure that you see it. So if you're watching this for the first time, please make sure that you like the page or whatever, so you'll get the updates when they come. See you next week.